This is LJ from Good Vibez.
I'm an artist. Artist2Artist. I'm an artist. Artist2Artist. I'm an artist. Artist2Artist. I'm an artist.
Thanks for allowing me to do an interview with you for Artist2Artist. What is your name?
Thank you for coming. My name is Neria. I'm the owner, founder, and creator of the Marula Lock Foundation, or the Marula Foundation, and DBA Marula Locks. We are here at Studio 353, which is my home space, my curated space, and I'm glad to have you here.
All right, thank you. So Neria,
Yes.
what got you into throwing locks?
I have been a hairstylist all my life. My mother was a hairstylist, and my great aunt was a loctician.
Okay.
She was my first experience of locks and kind of blackness, and I just have been captivated ever since. So that was when I was 9 years old.
Oh,
It's
nice.
been a while.
So did you start it like your grandmother had a shop, or she had it inside a house? Or?
My mom graduated hair school, and she was always a kitchen hairstylist.
Okay.
So all of my cousins and, kind of everybody would come over to my kitchen and get their hair done by my mom. And then eventually she taught me how to do my own hair. She didn't feel like doing it. And then I became the kitchen hairstylist.
Nice. So how long were you a kitchen hairstylist, then becoming the studio hairstylist?
Yeah. I was a kitchen hairstylist for quite a while because I never wanted to be a hairstylist.
Uh-huh.
I didn't become a hairstylist full time until COVID happened.
Okay.
That was what, 2020?
Yep.
2020?
2020. Yep.
Yeah, I didn't become a full-time stylist until COVID happened, at which I was working in the therapy field, which is my dual career path.
Okay.
And everybody got fired because COVID.
Yeah.
And I had friends calling me, asking me, could I do their hair in my kitchen?
Oh, nice.
So I did. I went back to doing hair in the kitchen. And then from there, one client turned into 2, turned into 300 in my house.
Right.
So I had to get a stop.
Yeah. Well, you growing. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, I see on your website you have like lessons.
Yeah, I have PDFs that I create just for general knowledge. I also am always offering one-on-one classes for people who are interested in mentorship towards becoming a master loctician or just learn how to do their own hair. I'm all about healthy hair.
So what is the price range for that, for one-on-ones?
For the one-on-ones, I charge $100 an hour.
Uh-huh.
If you just want to learn one skill, perhaps.
Yes.
If you're interested in learning a whole handful of skills, then we would come up with a custom price based on what you need.
So what is your favorite style of locks?
This one.
Okay, and why?
I love wicks because I love the rebellion of them.
Yeah.
I love that they defy gravity. I love that they grow towards God.
Uh-huh.
I just think that who else can do that?
Yeah.
And I love the expression. When Marcus came in, he told me exactly what he wanted, and he was adamant about it. And I was like, people gonna tell you that your hair is ugly.
Yeah.
He was like, I don't care about that.
Uh-huh.
I want to do what I want to do, and that's what I'm all about.
That's what's up. So Marcus, what caused you to get that kind of hairstyle?
Well, for a couple of months, I was getting my hair twisted, and every time I would get my hair done, it would poof back up into a bush. So I'm like, I gotta find another way to get my hair locked, because it seemed like my hair won't stay for some reason. Like my hair just wouldn't stay when I would get it locked. So I was online looking at other styles, and I'm like, wicks would be cool. It's something different, and I'm looking to look different. So why not go with the wicks? And then I had to do my homework and my research on who in Baltimore did wicks. I came across Neria. And I liked her work, her energy and everything. So I'm like, let me give this a try. And when I got here, we sat down. Like she said, we had a conversation about it. And I'm just like, look, this is what I want. And this is what we gonna do. And ever since then, it's just been history for me. Everywhere I go, people stop and stare. You know what I mean? Like, some people like it, some people don't. But at the end of the day, like you said before, I love it. It makes me feel good.
Thank you, Marcus. So, Neria,
Yes.
what would you tell an inspiring, up-and-coming loctician, like something good and something bad about the side of actually being a loctician?
I don't think that there are any bad sides of being a loctician. I think that there are bad sides of being an entrepreneur
Okay.
in general.
Could you explain?
You have to work on yourself. Entrepreneurship is all about you.
Yeah.
It's all about what you pour into your business, and that's what you'll get back. So if you waking up 10 minutes before the appointment, hungover every day, your business is never going to thrive. You got to get yourself on a routine. You got to address the issues within yourself, because it's really just a reflection of you. What you build is who you are.
Yeah, definitely.
So be better.
So do you have anybody that's in your life or that were in your life that inspired you to have that mindset of entrepreneurship?
Both my parents are entrepreneurs. So it kind of is genetic to a certain extent.
Yeah.
I have a rebellious streak that I can't seem to turn off. And it works for me. I know that entrepreneurialism is not for everybody.
Yeah, definitely.
Because you have to think for yourself. You got to wake up and get it every day. There is no autopilot. You got to wake up and make choices. And if that's not something that you want to take the responsibility of doing, then just get a paycheck. That's cool too. But I love the idea that when I wake up, I have no idea how much money I'm gonna make. It all depends on what I do.
Yeah, definitely.
I like that.
That's what's up.
So I would, what was the question? What would I tell? Didn't I already answer that?
Yeah, you asked.
Okay, good.
Uh-huh.
I had to check in with myself.
You doing good. You're a natural.
Okay, cool.
What's up? All right, so let's talk about motherhood a little bit.
Ooh, the best hood.
Yes, fatherhood is too. But
I can't relate. I can't relate.
What are your three top best things about motherhood, if you can?
3 top best things about motherhood.
Yes.
Again, it's always going to be the reflection.
Uh-huh.
I'm a super, super reflective person. So what I see my son growing into reminds me of what I'm putting into him.
Yeah.
And it reminds me of who I want to be.
Yeah.
Man, I'm always kind of like a kid at heart. So
Okay.
I love having a built-in best friend to go and see Lilo and Stitch with me and play video games and skip wherever.
Yeah.
My son will also dance with me anywhere.
That's what's up.
Anywhere. And I love that.
Yeah.
The other part of it is the other moms that you meet who show you how resilient you really are. I don't think you know how strong you are until you got somebody to carry.
Yeah.
It shows you a different side of yourself.
So in that case, do you have family members and friends that are mothers that come together and like help each other, edify each other, and build each other up?
I have this crazy thick village.
Yeah.
That is undeniable.
Uh-huh.
I don't think that I would be myself without them.
Yeah.
And that being, there's somebody in my village right over there in the corner. Don't turn the camera. That's just Judy. But my family is so wide and expansive, and there's so many different types of womanhood, motherhood that I get to look into and ask questions about, intimate, weird questions.
Yeah.
And they never make me feel bad about it. And so that's something that I'm always trying to be a big advocate for, not isolating and using the community that you have. I think oftentimes we think that we have to do everything on our own or figure out everything on our own, when you don't.
Yeah.
You gotta let some of that go.
Yeah. So you don't have to like go deep into details, but I know that all of us come from like places where we have dark times in our lives. So anytime when you had a dark time in the motherhood, like for example, if somebody is going through that right now, what would you tell them to do? What's kind of like the first step of what to do to get out of that negative thought space?
Acknowledge that it's negative.
Yeah.
That's really the first step. Hold on 1 second. Hey, Dad. Listen. Either at the studio or at home. Okay, cool. That's my village calling me right now. Okay, so yeah, the first step is definitely to acknowledge that you need help. I think a lot of times, especially women, Black women in this community where we come from, we are taught to be so strong that we forget to ask for help. And I think that's the first step. Saying this is really heavy, this is really hard, I need some help, I need some resources. Because there's this idea that if we ask for help, we're weak. And when in actuality, asking for help is really strong of you.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's good. So do you have any funny stories that you could tell on camera while you was like actually doing your art?
Funny stories?
Yeah.
I have so many funny stories. Me and my clients, we talk about any and everything in here. I'm trying to think of, I don't want to put nobody's business out.
Yeah.
Let me see. We talk about a funny story. Marcus, what's a funny story? What makes it funny? What makes a story funny?
Just something unordinary.
Funny story. What is it? A funny story? You know what though? The humor in the story is the relationship always. Yeah. This is a space where my clients in real life come in and tell me all their dirt. Yeah. Like from top to bottom. I think it's the fact that I am a therapist in addition to being a hairstylist. Yeah. And then, you know, me curating this space, it really is a ploy to get you to come in here and relax.
Yeah, definitely.
And when people relax, they start telling all their business. Okay, funny story. This guy came in. I've had him maybe 2 or 3 times. I don't see him anymore, mind you. Okay. Now, he used to come in, he used to talk to me about all of this money. He had all this money, he was rich, he was this and that, he was that guy, he was the money man. Yeah. And then his card would decline. Or like, he would be like, oh, can you put half on this place and half on this place? And like, he had all of these financial issues. Like, he would be like, oh, well, can I pay you at the next appointment? But he would come into the salon, and this is before I had this studio. This is when I had a hair salon. Okay. It was 8, 9 women in this salon, and he would come in like Big Daddy, like, yeah, hey ladies, how y'all doing? Like, what's up? And we'd be like, you're broke ass. Because when he left, we would all talk about the fact that he had all these billing issues. Yeah. So that same guy hits me up one day over the weekend, asked me to come in. I think it was like a Saturday morning or something like that. Now, anybody who knows me knows, for the most part, I never mind being somebody who accommodates my clients, but it's going to cost you. He wanted me to come in, not paid extra, and he thought he was doing me a favor by telling somebody about the good job that I did. Yeah. That was hilarious to me. Yeah. Because everybody knows that I'm good at what I'm doing. And you think I'm going to get up out of my bed on a Sunday morning? That's not happening. But I did, right? Yeah. Because he went into this whole thing about, it was a whole traumatic issue. I get there, his wife was outside with his girlfriend and him. Dang. And it turned out they had set him up. Dang. Is that funny?
It's funny to some people. I know it's not funny to him, though.
Yeah, it wasn't funny to him.
Dang, that's
but
crazy.
Yeah, no. So he's not my client anymore. Mainly just because I got tired of doing him favors.
Yeah. Well, sometimes people will take advantage of your kindness.
They do. That's another part about being an entrepreneur. You have to know when to say no. That's something that took me years to learn. Yeah. Years. Because you burn yourself out sometimes being a service provider because you want to make people happy. You want them to have the best experience. You want them to be spectacular. But also, you are still a person. You still have needs. You still have boundaries. Mm-hmm. And sometimes the answer is no.
Yeah.
We say?
It sounds kind of similar to being a man.
To being a man, being an entrepreneur.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, I am Big Daddy when I'm in here. You know, I'm the man. I'm a man.
Sometimes.
You know what I'm saying?
Providing
Providing can burn you out. So you have to make sure that you have boundaries, self-care, you know. If I was a man, I would be a shorty.
So what things do you do outside of being a loctician that will help you like decompress?
I have a very serious self-care schedule. I wake up at 4 a.m. most days. I get my workout in, I read the Bible, I talk to myself, talk to God until about 6 a.m. About 6, I'm usually doing, well, right now I'm doing my cardio as a jump rope challenge. 10 minutes jump rope in a day. And then I like sit in stillness for a while, wake my son up, take him to school. That's like my morning. I have to have those hours in the morning for just mental balance. I'm also somebody who's a bit of a busybody, so I tend to have hobbies.
Okay.
Right now I'm on a rowing team.
Okay.
And I do that twice a week. I like that a lot. What else? I'm a girl's girl. So I'm definitely going to the nail salon and getting the nails and the toes and the facial and the massage. And I think when people think about self-care, that's immediately what they think about. But to me, that's kind of maintenance.
Yeah.
You need those things so I don't look busted. Self-care to me is what you're doing on the inside that reflects on the outside.
Yeah.
And for me, that's definitely spending time with my son, spending time with myself, and creating boundaries.
Yeah.
Yep.
So will you eventually have classes or record your classes to send out?
I don't know. I'm not somebody who plans the future, really. I don't really like, you know how some people have like a 5-year plan. I don't have that. I just roll with it.
Yeah.
Because I move based on my heart posture. Okay. So if my heart don't feel like it, I don't want to do it.
So how have that like catapult you forward? Because there's some people that need to write it down, like write down their goals, and then some people just do it based off of spontaneous feelings.
It has its pros and cons. I was raised by my dad mostly. I was raised by both my parents, but for the ending half of my teenage life, I lived with my dad. And my dad is a very meticulous person. Everything has an order and a structure, and I eventually grew to hate that.
Yeah.
And so I kind of went in the opposite way, in which I was like, I'm just going to do whatever I feel like doing. And that's kind of how I live my life. I wake up every day, and I look at what's on my schedule, and I check in with my feelings first. Yeah. I know some people say like it's mind over matter. For me, it's very much, if my mind doesn't account, the matter doesn't happen. So if I can't check in with my feelings and give myself a hug or give myself a snack or whatever that feeling may be, sometimes I gotta buy myself flowers. Yeah. Sometimes I gotta get all gassed up, like dress up in a whole 3-piece suit just to come to work, because that's what I felt like. Yeah. You gotta do that. But business goals, I really just do it based on what I feel. If I feel like I want to share more of myself, then I do. But I also am very okay with only my clients knowing my real personality. I'm okay with that.
Why is that?
Because I'm not for everybody.
I'm not saying for everybody, but the way you are, I believe that if people experience who you are, it could cause them to be radiant like you are.
Or it could cause them to be a hater.
That's always going to happen regardless.
Or it could cause them to be a copycat.
That's going to happen too.
Or, I mean, and I'm all about authenticity. I love when people don't know who I am, and then they come in here and they be like, oh, you're pretty cool. Yeah. I like that. Yeah. So I don't know that I want to be on camera me all the time.
Well, who said that though?
Who said what? Everybody says that.
I just play. So last remarks.
Can you move into number 2 for me? If you're taking your hoodie off, you can hang it up.
So your last remarks, like
Okay.
anything you want to say to the viewers.
Anything I want to say to the viewers? I just want people to be extremely, incredibly themselves. You forget how awesome you are when you're trying to be everybody else. If you really figure out who you are, which a lot of times people don't even know. Like I could ask you straight off the bat, how you like your eggs? And people be like, I'm not exactly sure. Figure out how you like your eggs. Figure out what you need in the morning to get you going. Figure out what makes you feel like crap. Get away from those people, get away from those things. Be authentically and wildly yourself. And it will take you places